Yo, what's up, man? Hey, welcome back to the house. I am Dead Boy Box. This is Rough House Boxing TV. And yeah, man, the time has come. Breakdown and prediction for the Danny Garcia Shawn Porter fight. But before I get into what I gotta get into, I gotta say shout out to the whole LDBC. You know what I'm saying? Salute everybody that rock with me on my channel, all my subs, or all my people that just stop through the house and just peek your head in the door once or twice, but you haven't subbed yet. It's all good. I appreciate you for coming through, man, and I thank you for stopping by the house. But man, all right. Yes, this is a pick'em fight. Yes, this is a 50-50 fight. Yes, this is gonna be a close fight. You know, could either fighter get knocked out? Yes. You know, either fighter could knock the other out. One punch could be the deciding factor. It could, but man, oh man, hey, you see why I'm tripping when I get to the end of this, man. But I could only go off what I saw in my analysis. What the fighter showed me in the footage that I watched and I researched. So with that being said, man, let's get into it. Let's go. All right. We will start as always. I got my notes, and as you can see, I got a full sheet for both of these dudes, man. And I went kind of deep into it, so y'all bear with me. Walk with me for a second. All right, the good, the bad, the ugly. We will start with Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia comes in with a record of 34-1 with 20 knockouts. We know that one loss was from Keith Thurman. So the good. Danny is a good counterpuncher, very good counterpuncher. He's a patient fighter. He takes whatever the opposition is going to give to him, whatever they're going to show him. Whatever they expose, I should say. Has a nice jab. Sometimes it's a sharp jab. Sometimes not so much, but he does have a nice jab. He's capable of throwing a nice jab. Has an excellent hook. Primarily the left hook, but he hits hard with either hook. And another thing, I went back and I watched out of his 20 KOs, I watched probably about 15 of them. Every KO was with a hook. Every single one was with a hook. Let's see. He's got a good chin. He can take some shots. He's a good body puncher. He likes to focus on the body attack. Chop down that wood, deposit that money into the bank of the body, and normally he's able to slow fighters down. Normally, let me see. He's a good combo puncher when he gets in rhythm. And that's the thing about it. He has to find his rhythm, or else those combo punches don't come as cleanly. They don't connect as accurately. And but once he gets into that rhythm and he's figured his opponent out, he's able to do very good combo work. Doesn't waste a lot of unnecessary energy. He's not the guy that's going to move and run all around the ring. He's going to conserve as much energy as he can, and he's going to try to shoot sharp, crisp, accurate punches for the most part. There are some times when he'll get a little wild, but overall, he's the type that likes to avoid expending unnecessary energy. All right, that's the good. So we'll go to the bad. Not much head movement. You'll get some head movement in spurts, but the majority of the time you're gonna see his head just like this. It's center line. Sometimes he's too patient. We spoke about his patience being one of his pros, but The flip side of that is sometimes he gets too patient and waiting for fighters to come to him and initiate offense so he can counter. A lot of times he lets time pass when he could be letting his hands go and getting busy. Lack of foot movement, especially lateral foot movement. I noticed that he's a straightforward and back fighter for all intents and purposes. Not a lot of lateral movement. Some of the things. One thing that I noticed was sometimes it seems like he has slow reaction time in the incoming punches. You'll see him slip some punches, but then you'll see others where he's sitting there looking right at it and oop, oop. And I'm wondering, why didn't he move his head? But that's just what it was. Doesn't transition well from offense to defense and vice versa. Danny Garcia is a type of fighter who, when he's on offense, he is all the way on offense until he gets hit, and then he's all the way on defense. He's not the Floyd Mayweather-esque type of person that could slip, roll, dodge punches and keep the guard up and parry and block punches and then catch and shoot. And I didn't see that with Garcia. Doesn't cut the ring off well, and he didn't. Not much to be said on that. He will throw low blows. That seemed to be a consistent theme in the fights that I watched with him. The referee warning him repeatedly about get him up, keep him up. Hey, no more low blows. So and I don't know if that comes from arms being tired, but I find that kind of hard to be the case because, like I said, he's not the type that wastes. Well, you know what? He doesn't waste a lot of energy moving around the ring. He does. I did catch spurts of him, throwing a lot of punches that didn't connect. So, maybe his arms got tired. Let's see. Has trouble with elusive and athletic fighters. When I was watching him versus Keith Thurman, I noticed that he had trouble with Keith because Keith had very, very good foot movement, very good lateral movement, able to spin out of punching range, able to slip punches that were being thrown. And Lamont Peterson was another one. And I had to go back and watch that Lamont Peterson versus Garcia fight. I saw it, but it kind of, slipped through the cracks of my mind and I'd forgotten about it. I went back and I watched that fight again and I saw some things in that fight, But yeah, movers, people that are elusive, he tends to have trouble with those type of fighters. He has trouble finding them. He has trouble cornering them. He has trouble dealing with them. So yeah. Let me see. Fight straight up and down. Another thing that I noticed, and this was primarily in the Thurman fight. And once I saw that, I started paying attention to it in other fights. But he fights straight up and down. I remember at least 3 different times, at the end of 3 different rounds, when Angel Garcia was pleading with him, man, bend your knees, stop standing straight up and fighting straight up and down, bend your knees, So, and for all of y'all that don't know, for one, bending your knees makes you, it makes you a lower target. 2, bending your knees is like compressing a spring. If you need to get from point A to point B quickly, your springs are already compressed. So all you got to do is go, But when you're standing straight up and down, if you need to move from point A to point B, you got to compress and then move. And while you compressing, they could be compressing your face with a punch. So that's just what it is. Has a tendency to drop his left hand. Notice that in all 3 of the fights that I watched. The Peterson fight was the one where that stood out to me the most. When Peterson started walking him down, that I don't know, he was dropping that left and he was getting caught with right hooks from Peterson. So yeah, that's what it is. All right, on to Showtime Shawn Porter. Porter comes in with a record of 28-2-1 with 17 KOs. Those two losses came from Kell Brook and Keith Thurman. All right, here we go. The good. Tough, physical fighter, strong fighter. He's the brawler type. We all know that. Has a good motor, good work rate. Man, he is on 10 throughout the course of the whole fight, from the opening bell to the final bell. That dude is coming at you, and he is the Tasmanian devil all over you. If you don't have the tools and the tactics to keep him off you, it's gonna be a long night. Long night. Has a good chin. The fights that I watched 3 of his fights as well. He is hittable. He is hittable. That's just what it is. And he took shots, flush shots from everybody that I watched him fight, and he kept going. There were a few times when Kell Brook, was able to make him back up, but it was only a couple. There was a couple times when Keith Thurman was able to make him back up, but it was only a couple. It was just a couple. Ordinarily, fighters would connect with a jab or a 1-2, and even when they hit him with that 2, it would pause him in his tracks, and as soon as they drew back, he was in motion with them, coming right towards him, swinging. So, like I said, he's got a beard on him. He can take a punch. Gets low to avoid punches, and that is that's pretty much self-explanatory. But he uses that his lack of height. He's grown accustomed to it. He's adapted to it, and sometimes he uses it to his advantage. Decent footwork. Let's see, does his best work in the phone booth. We all know he likes to get in close, and then he likes to go to work and get busy once he gets in close, and that's due to the fact that he's got short arms. For one, does good body work, and that coincides with the phone booth. Once he gets in close, he likes to go to work on the body. Maybe because he can't reach most of his opponent's heads, but I don't know. Smothers opponents' offenses when they're on the ropes. That's a tactic that he likes to use. We all know that he likes to get his opponents on the ropes, and he'll bury his head in their neck, shoulder, or chest area, or wherever, and he'll stay close. He'll stay close enough to where he can get punches off, but it's hard for the opponent to get punches off that's on the ropes. So, that's it. Decent use of feints and angles. That's kind of self-explanatory. He and K. Diddy, Kenny Porter, his dad, I found him many times during the fight repeating the same instructions on him. Feint, feint, feint till you get him where you want him, and then, come with something overhand. And that leads me to my next thing is he has a nice overhand right. And I noticed that once he does feint, and get his opponent in the position that he wants, a lot of times he'll step back and he'll let that overhand right go. And it connects, a decent percentage of the time. All right, on to the bad. Leaves feet to punch a lot of the time. He has that leaping hook. It's normally a leaping left hook. And in the air is not where you want to be, Now, we've seen it work for fighters. We've also seen it not work for fighters. Like I said, if you're leaping up in the air to throw a punch and your opponent beats you to the punch, there's nowhere you can go. You're gonna run right into a punch. So, that's one of the things that he does. He gets off his feet. And another thing that contributes to that, once again, is the fact that he's short. He's 5'8", But Let's see. Sometimes he has trouble closing the distance, and this is primarily with fighters who have an effective jab. If you have an effective jab, then you can keep, well, it's easier to keep Shawn Porter off of you. So and keep him on the outside. Most punches are wide and looping, and it's funny, like um like Danny Garcia. I primarily saw hooks and overhand rights and things like that, from Shawn Porter. Not a lot of straight down the pipe, sharp, crisp punches, but a whole lot of wide shots. So if Danny Garcia, is able to shoot straight down the middle, a lot of times he's going to be able to catch Shawn Porter with something clean. Now, will he be able to stop him? That's another question. We already talked about Porter's beard. See. Has trouble with a good effective jab. Okay, that we kind of discussed that about he has trouble closing the distance. If you got that jab, you can keep him at bay, for a percentage of the time anyway. Drops head a lot and doesn't see a lot of shots coming. And I will couple that with my next one, which says he is susceptible to the uppercut as well as the left hook. And that is because he comes in a lot of times with his head down, with the crown of his head facing the opponent. And when that happens, the only thing you can see is what's down. That's all you can see. So, that hook or that uppercut, you can see an uppercut coming. But if your head is down and your guard isn't up, you just gonna get hit with an uppercut or a right hook or left hook or whatever the case may be. Let's see, not an effective jab. It's not piston like at all. A lot of times it's a distracting jab. He just flicks it out there, and yeah, that's what it is. And the fact that he doesn't have an effective jab made me think of something else, which I didn't write down, but I should have, is that he doesn't do not much of any work off of the jab, because there's a very ineffective, inconsistent jab to speak of to begin with. Loads up on everything. And I'll couple that with no variation in punch speed and placement. Everything is the same speed. It's swing for the fences. And that being said, that can make him timeable, hittable. You gotta be able to vary your punch speed, alternate between, the belly, the chest, the head, But if everything is your opponent's going to be able to see what's coming more times than not when you start loading up. Let's see. Sometimes does not do a good job of cutting off the ring and winds up chasing his opponent around the ring. He did that a lot in the Keith Thurman fight. Instead of cutting off, it was almost like a track meet in some rounds when Keith Thurman was using his movement to get away from him. Instead of lateral movement and cutting the ring off side to side, he was behind Keith. It seemed like he was behind Keith, trying to chase him. Like, hey, slow down, stop, come back, let me hit you. That's what's up. Let's see. He gets sloppy, and we all know that. There's really not a lot to go into with that one. Susceptible to a good counterpunch, which is Danny Garcia's forte. And that is the last thing I got on. Hey, hold on for a second. My daughter's out there knocking. But that was the last thing I got on Danny Garcia. So, drop that. And let me say this. I watched 3 fights apiece on both fighters, as well as highlight reels, just to see if there was anything else that would jump out at me, that would stand out. And I'm going to say this right here. These fighters are who they are. They are established in their careers. They are established in their fighting styles, in their routines, in their tactics that they got in their toolkits. Those are already established. It's not like either fighter is going to learn something brand new. It's not like it's not like they gotta. It's not like one of them's going to learn how to do uh back backflips and cartwheels, and it's not like the other one's going to learn how to work nunchucks. No, the only thing they're going to do is they're going to work on things that they've already been taught, things that will help them deal with the opponent that's going to be across from them uh, tomorrow night. Whether that's lateral movement, whether that's body head combination punching. It's not gonna be anything brand new. It's just tactics that are gonna give them an edge or an advantage in the fight tomorrow night. So, like I said, these fighters are who they are. Danny Garcia is the patient counterpuncher. Shawn Porter is the aggressive, stalk you down, Tasmanian devil, throw punches from everywhere. That's what they are. Now, all that being said, the fights that I watched told me a lot about one particular fighter that I did know. Now, and that fighter is Danny Garcia. Now, granted, I had a pretty good idea of who and what Shawn Porter is. And Shawn Porter has been true to his fight style and everything he does since day one. Now, I did learn some things about Shawn Porter that, I may not have paid attention to. But the one that I got the most information out of was on Danny Garcia. And I guess I didn't put it down as one of the cons, but and I really should have. But one thing I noticed in the Lamont Peterson fight and the Keith Thurman fight as well is Danny Garcia has trouble with fighters that walk him down and connect. He won that Lamont Peterson fight by majority decision. That second half of that fight, when Lamont Peterson started walking him down, Lamont Peterson was beating that dude up, man. He was putting them things on him. Bing, bing, bing. And there was so many times I was watching that fight and I was like, ooh, ooh, oh. Because Danny was getting some shots in, but the ones that were counting, go back and look at that fight. And you look at each one of those fighters after that fight is over, and if you just put pictures of them up at the end of that fight, you tell me who you think won that fight or who lost that fight. Man, that boy Lamont put some hands on him from probably round 7 on down to the rest of the fight, bruh. Walked him down. Danny would have lost easily if Lamont Peterson would have started taking it to him earlier in the fight. But he spent the first 5-6 rounds of the fight just, trying to be all slick and just dodge punches and wasn't really initiating much offense, And also, the same thing with Keith Thurman. When Keith Thurman brought it to Danny Garcia, he put them things on Danny Garcia. And we know who's gonna be stalking who during this fight. And we talked about Shawn Porter's motor. We talked about Shawn Porter's chin. They say Danny Garcia's got, this prolific power. Bruh, against top tier competition, I wasn't seeing it. I wasn't seeing the stopping power, not at 147. Maybe at lower weight classes, but not at 147, bruh. I was not seeing it. So Oh, and another thing was, uh, it was a little bit more convenient in this fight to break down this fight, and one of the reasons is because they both had a common opponent that they lost to. So that gave me an opportunity to I can't talk, an opportunity to see what flaws, what weaknesses, you know, were glaring, what errors were made. And one of the things I learned about Shawn Porter by watching the Keith Thurman fight against both of them back to back was that Shawn Porter gave Keith Thurman a harder fight than Danny Garcia did. And yeah, man. Oh Lord Jesus, I can't believe I'm finna say this, man. But I got Shawn Porter by by decision, man. Split decision, majority decision, but unanimous decision, some kind of decision, man. Danny has trouble with fighters that bring it to him and walk him down. That was the theme that I saw. And I was thinking to myself, man, Lamont Peterson does not apply anywhere near the pressure that Shawn Porter applies. And he beat that dude's face raggedy. Keith Thurman does not apply anywhere near the pressure that Shawn Porter applies. And he put them things on that boy. Now, granted, Danny is a good counterpuncher, like we said. But when Danny gets frustrated and when Danny is going backwards, we already said Danny doesn't fight well off the back foot. Danny's got to be stationary or coming forward. So when Shawn Porter mauls and muscles and just, strangulates him all over the ring and, up against the ropes and does his thing, I don't know that Danny is going to perform the way a lot of people are accustomed to Danny performing. And for everybody out there that's saying that Danny is going to whip this dude easy, man, y'all must not have watched that Lamont Peterson fight or that Keith Thurman fight. Because there was nothing easy about either one of those dudes. Granted, he won one. He won one of those fights, the one against Peterson. But that fight could have been a draw. Or it could have gone to Peterson. It wasn't nothing just an all-out, glaring, dominant victory for Danny. Man, Danny was in a war. But yeah, man, I can't believe that came out of my mouth, man, because people that have seen me in the chats when Shawn Porter is being discussed, they know that I've said, oh, I cannot stand that dude's style. His style is so ugly. But that ugly, I believe, is going to be just a little bit too much for that boy Danny Garcia, man. So, once again, Shawn Porter by some kind of decision. But hey, that's what it is, man. Hey, shout out to the whole LDBC. Y'all smash that like button, man, if you like this good boxing talk we got going on over here at the house, man. And oh yeah, hey, salute to my man McGregor Boxing Stars, dude. Hey, keep putting it down over there in Ireland like you do, man. I had the pleasure of going through quite a bit of your content today, dude, and I must say I am thoroughly impressed. Y'all go over there and subscribe to McGregor Boxing Stars. That dude is doing it real big, man. Not officially an LDBC, representative, but I consider him an affiliate. That's what's up, man. And he calls it square biz, straight down the line, man. That's just how it is, man. But hey, I want to say thank y'all for coming by the house, man. I am that boy Box. This is Rough House Boxing TV. And let me see, is there anything else? No. So y'all can go ahead and get on out the house. G.